All right. Yesterday, St. Louis Post-Dispatch is the first one to report that the state voted to dissolve the Normandy School District. Our guest, Jessica Bach, has been on the front lines of this story from the very beginning. She joins us now. Good morning, Jessica.
Good morning.
How surprising was this move by the school district or by the board?
It really wasn't that surprising at all, considering that the state-appointed task force, this was basically along the lines of their recommendations, and the first step moving towards what they've been studying for, the past month or so.
So what does this mean going forward for the students that stayed and for the students that transferred out?
I think that Ty McNichols probably said it best. He said, school is going to look like school for the kids. It's going to be a lot different for the adults in the school district. Particularly for the teachers, I think there's a lot of uncertainty right now. All of their contracts as of June 30th will be void. Chris Nicastro, the education commissioner, has said, many are probably going to keep their jobs just for some stability in the district. But I think they're probably going to be put through a pretty rigorous evaluation system, and they're trying to keep, the best of the best and bring in people who can really turn things around.
Will the students that transferred out, will their money to stay with them and they can still continue to finish their high school career where they transferred out of?
That's really the big unknown right now. And I think we're in a wait-and-see spot right now. The state education department is waiting to see what the governor does with 493. And I think maybe the governor's office may have been waiting to see what move the state board took yesterday. So everyone's waiting and hoping for an answer in the next week or so, whether Jay Nixon signs the bill, whether he vetoes it, and then they go from there. I think that's really going to tell us what the future of transfers might be.
Right, because that transfer law that's sitting on the governor's desk, if he signs it, does this rule, are they working together? Are they working two different ends? What's the combination here?
Well, I think that from the state's perspective, they want to see Normandy kids be able to go to school in their community. The last thing they wanted to do was break apart the district and have those kids go elsewhere. And under the current transfer law, Normandy cannot survive. So something needs to change there. I think the governor understands that too, but 493 has the private school voucher provision in it, which he has, all but said that he would veto. So there's definitely a lot going on. And for the families of kids who transferred this year, many of them that we've talked to, they're really happy in their new schools. The last thing they want to do is have another year of disruption and transition. And so, the best thing for those kids would be able to continue at least through their middle school career or their elementary or high school career, but nobody knows if that's going to be able to happen.
Will they remain unaccredited?
Well, right now that's also a little bit unknown. As of right now, Normandy remains unaccredited. Come July 1st, it will be up to the state board to decide whether they're going to essentially hit the reset button and give them a new accreditation status, no accreditation, remain unaccredited. I think that'll depend on what the governor does with 493.
Would students that stayed in Normandy be allowed to transfer out next year?
Well, that's the question. If Normandy is unaccredited and the transfer law stays as is, then they should be able to.
Yeah, that's still up in the air depending on what happens.
A lot could change over the next few months.
Right. What about the parent, the concerned parent, who wants to take a grievance to the school board or doesn't like what's in the history book or doesn't like what book the teacher is making them read in the English class? Does the Normandy parent have a say in the curriculum in Normandy anymore?
Yeah, I think they will. I mean, whoever this joint executive governing board is, I think they're going to be local. They're going to be present in the district. It's not going to be, someone from Jeff City dictating what goes on. The task force was made up of, alumni and education-minded people in the community. I think there's a lot of people who are local that want to see Normandy succeed, and parents will still have that outlet.
Yeah. So now we wait for what the governor does with this transfer bill.
Yep, pretty much. We'll see.
You talking to parents? You said you talked to parents from the kids who transferred. They're happy. What about what's the general consensus, if there is any, about this replacing the Normandy School District? What's been the reaction from the parents?
You know, in the boardroom yesterday, there was a lot of people from the community in Normandy, the current school board members, and there was really almost no reaction. I think probably because they weren't surprised at what was happening, and maybe they were a little bit stunned too. But I think their main concern is the transfers. They want to know, is our money going to continue to go outside of the district? And maybe, you know, they want that local representation, but more urgent is if this is what needs to happen to stop the transfers, then, you know, so be it.
Yeah, Normandy got the money to finish the school year, correct?
They did, yeah.
Okay. Going forward, with this new arrangement that the state's taking over, are their funds going to be taken care of, or are they going to have to worry again next year about all these funds? And I guess I'm answering my own question. That depends on what the governor does with that transfer law.
Right, exactly. You know, they cannot survive if they continue to have to, you know, take their money and send it outside of the district. So, you know, we'll see what happens.
It's a really interesting story.
I have a quick question. Who is the panel? Who are these people, the new board?
They haven't been appointed yet. It's supposed to be 5 to 7 members, and Nicastro said she still hasn't decided whether she'll put any of the current elected board members on that panel as well. So that remains to be seen. I think in June we'll find out who those people are.
Jessica Bach, you deserve a raise over there. Great job, as always. Thanks for checking in.
Oh, tell my boss that.
I will. Will do. You got it. Thanks, Jessica. STLtoday.com is where you find her, and you read her in your hometown newspaper. She's been covering this story from the beginning, and she's on the front lines, and she breaks it down so we all can understand.